Get ready to find your recipe for a successful real estate lifestyle from America's top experts here at Greenlight REI with your host, Lance Edwards.
Well, hello, everyone. Hi, this is Lance Edwards. Welcome to this edition of Greenlight REI, where we're here to help share with you the successful real estate lifestyle. And today, I am so excited by the person we'll be speaking to today. His name is Mr. Peter Arianas, and write that name down because this name you're going to come to know this name. First of all, I'm going to tell you a little bit of his background and what he's doing in his life now, and we're going to tie him together. So let me give you a quick perspective on this gentleman, Peter Arianas. He actually was a client of mine, student of mine years ago, and he has been ever since then. I hold him up as the poster child for persistence. When he in both business and life, and he's a descendant of the Spartans of Thermopylae. We're outnumbered. He's got a warrior mentality to him, and he started off many years ago now. And of course, he flew. He lived in New York at the time. He flew to Houston 2 hours to come see me speak at a free 2-hour event. Right. And I remember that's when I first met him. He came down there, and from that, I was talking about small apartments. He enrolled, got involved, and with the small apartments, and he went out and did his first transaction. He wholesaled a property in Ohio, 44 doors, as I recall, and made $66,000. $66,000. His first real estate transaction of any kind. Right. No experience, no cash, no credit, and no support from anyone. He maybe got a little bit of guidance from me, but
hold on. You were my support. You know that.
But he was out there doing it, and I will tell you, during this transaction, he hit more than his share of obstacles, or 10 other people's share of obstacles, in getting it done. Yet Peter never gave up. He would not stop. Persistence saw him through to get that check for $66,000, and I can assure you. Yeah, he started waving around checks for $66,000. He converted a lot of naysayers at that point, and they converted them into believers. And so all these years, I've used Peter's story, and still to this day, as the epitome of persistence. Never give up. After that, he became a deal maker. He was helping other people to get started in apartments. They would call him in on the tough ones. Yeah. Peter simply doesn't give up, and he loves helping others. And I say all that background because now Peter wants to take that never give up attitude to the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C., and help his future constituents of the 21st District of Florida. We share that home state now, and turning around a lot of mess we got going up in D.C. And so I invited Peter to this podcast because I wanted to, first of all, make the connection between how do you go from successful apartment entrepreneur to representative, congressman, and I want to give him the pedestal here because this is an absolute tremendous man. First, Peter, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Lance. I have to tell you that was a great intro. I'm when I hear it, sometimes I'm like, was that really me? Did I really do that? And you know what it is? I don't look, and you know me, I don't look at some of the things I've done. I try to be like a very calm, grounded human being. And listen, you talk about no support. Let me tell you something. You were the only support I needed. And I've said this to you. I've said it to the people who've come to me, part of your team, part of the audience. I basically said to all of them, I said, you need to understand Lance has got your back. You need to listen to what he says. He will show you the right way. And you did. To this day, I look back at that as one of the most pleasant experiences that I've ever, no, I shouldn't say pleasant. It was a great experience, not necessarily pleasant all the time, but it was a great experience for me. And I would do it again in a second.
Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you for that, Pete. Thank you for that. And I know you probably don't consider it pleasant, but it was invaluable to you. I imagine you consider it now. And so I just want to. I'm going to start a little bit about the transaction. So I think it all ties together, Peter. I just kind of briefly skimmed that first transaction of yours, and you had a number of, I shared that you had a number of obstacles. Can you recount just some of the obstacles that come to your mind and trying to get that deal done? And then secondly, and the mindset you leveraged to break through, because this will be very helpful to a lot of people listening right now.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, even from the beginning, like when I had to fly out, I was so frustrated. I had the course already. And I just couldn't figure out what to do. I was just like, what do I do? I had to fly out to Houston because I said, I got to get in front of this guy. He's got to help me. And I did. And you gave me one bit of advice. Is, I'm not sure if you're still doing this, the mentoring program or whatever, but you told me this would be good for you. And there was other people who were already there on it. I go, I'm in, I'll do it. And that was my first hurdle because I was like, okay, because like everyone else who doesn't know the people you're dealing with, it's like, can I trust this guy? Because you don't know. And then once I got past that, because it was all me, it all came down to my fears, my insecurities, whatever you want to call it. From there, it's like every little step I can remember. The first thing we had to do was look for a deal, and it had to be a good deal. So I found a great deal. So I said, okay, this is the one we're going to do. And not even thinking how much was going to happen. But I can remember the very first block issue, whatever you want to call it, was, and I know I told you this story about when I had the deal, we had it, they sent me the contract, and now I have a check, other people's money. I have a check in the envelope, ready to go, and I'm standing in front of the mailbox. I'm like, it took me 10 minutes. Should I mail it? Oh, should I really do this? Is this for real? I'm not sure. It's not my money. What can I do? Literally 10 minutes. That was a huge obstacle for me because I kept thinking, is this going to happen? Is this for real? And I'm like, how am I going to get in trouble? And at one moment, it hit me like, I opened it up. I go, just do it. Threw it in and let go. Like it was on fire. And I thought, okay, it's done. The relief from that moment was, okay, I mean, it's going to be fine. And then throughout the whole deal, I can recall, oh my goodness, we never did write. We're going to write this book. I'm going to tell you. I can recall the buyer disappearing right before a deadline and not telling me, what do you want me to do? Should I go look for another buyer? But he was like, no, I want it, and then disappeared. And then I'm like, oh my God, another extension. I think we extended the deadlines like 3 or 4 times. And each time it was something different. And that was, I wanted to pull my hair out on that one. And then we had, there was just so many things I keep thinking.
Tell me about the one, Peter, one I remember, there was something with the bank. The buyer's bank had gone sideways or something, and you had to call and get the bank president.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we that's right. There were so many things. Yes, I recall the guy, the buyer for the property, okay, was putting his information through and they were having an issue with the bank. And I thought, wait a minute, this is an easy deal. It's worth the money. I can't. So at that point, I'm like, no, I called up the people who did the not the estimate, the appraisal. And they were like, it's good. And I said, what's the stop? So I wound up calling the bank and they're telling me, well, this is what's going on. This guy's got to approve it. I was like, well, give me his number. And now, mind you, this is not even for me to do. This was for them to do. But I'm like, I'm not holding this thing up because it could fall apart right here. So I called up, finally got the bank president on the phone. I said, hey, look, this is the deal. I'm the guy on the other side. We got this. And literally just talked him through it because it wasn't a difficult deal. It was just like, he didn't understand it. So I said, here, let me walk you through it. I walked him through it and he goes, oh, that's simple. I go, exactly. I said, so do me a favor. And he approved it right there in front of me. And I'm like, I'm not in front of me. It was over the phone. But he says, okay, I'll make sure he knows that it's going to go through. We'll take care of it. It'll be fine. And the same thing with the appraiser, because the appraiser's like, well, we're not sure. 3 days I was on the phone. Dude, you already have this information. What's the holdup? And they like, there's a deadline. You need to do this. Those deadlines gave me gray hair. I'm telling you what. But we got through it, So I forgot about that one.
Oh, these are just, I remember there's so many. But share with us, what was your mindset, or what did you leverage to see you through? A lot of people would have just folded the chairs up and say, let's go home. This is not to be. But you would not give up. So what was it? What was it that enables you to keep going and keep going and keep going? What I kept thinking inside was, I got to get this done. I said, I know this works.
and I have a guy helping me. So this can get done. Any little bumps in the road, I should be able to get past them. That's all I kept thinking. I said, I have to do this because in that time, the economy was starting to go a little crazy. So I thought, I got to get this out. It's got to work. This has to work. This has to work so I can prove it, one, to my wife at the time to say that this works. Okay. And some of the people were like, you sure? Are you sure? I don't know. You're barking up the wrong tree. I'm like, look, I hear that stuff. And all I keep thinking is like, no, you can say what you want. I'm going to dig even harder. And that's basically what it was. I just kept saying, I got to get this done. I have to. I believe this is a good deal. It's good a deal for everyone involved. We have to get this done. And that's what I just kept pushing it. And then I don't look back. I look forward. Okay, we had a couple bumps. What's the next one? Never did I realize we were going to have so many obstacles. But guess what? We got past them. And then we brought it to the finish line. Yeah, it was incredible. It was incredible.
No, it was an incredible deal. I mean, so here's the follow-up question to that, Peter. So, that was many years ago.
Sure.
Here's the question. How did completing that first apartment transaction impact you and your life going forward?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was, I have to tell you, the experience alone was great. The going through everything and realizing that I can do it. Okay. But I always knew I had you had my back. And I kept thinking, you know what, if Lance wasn't there, I don't know if I could have done it. But the fact was that you were there. Okay. And I kept thinking, we got to get this done. But something happened during the deal. I don't know if you remember this, but there was a point as we were getting close to the finish line and you were looking out for my best interest. And I knew it. I knew that from like the first month in. I'm like, he's got this. And you said to me, Peter, I honestly, with everything that's gone, maybe you need to, let it go. Just take whatever you could get now. Cause there was money there, a little bit of money there that I could have walked away with and just leave it. Cause it's aggravating for you and you need to just walk away. And I can remember that moment because I was in front of it was like it was yesterday. I was standing in front of my work truck. I was getting ready to go to a job to install windows. And I remember leaning on it saying, I said, Lance, no, I'm not doing it. We're going to finish this. I don't know how we're going to do it. We're going to finish it. But at that moment, after I hung up the phone, I'm like, he's looking out for me. He is. But guess what? And I knew you had my back, but I thought, I can do this. Even by myself, I can do this. And I thought, this is because sometimes you just need to, get the ball rolling. And the fact is, I had you helping me pushing that ball. And then finally, you're giving me great advice. And I probably should have taken. But I thought, no, I'm going to suffer more. and we did. And guess what? I got it to the finish line. And at that moment, I realized, you know what? It's good. It's good to have someone to help you do it. But guess what? You can still do it by yourself. And I knew at that moment, once we closed this deal, I thought, you know what? There is nothing that I can't do. I said, this was the best experience for me. This was the best thing that could have happened to me. And it was invaluable. It was an invaluable experience. Absolutely invaluable.
That's what I want to drill into a little bit. Did it spill into other areas of your life? Did it, that confidence that you gained or that persistence, and did it contribute what I'm leading up to here? Also, here you are running for Congress. You talk about persistence and putting up with obstacles. Oh my gosh. I mean, is there a connection of dots from that point in your life to move forward to kind of lead to now you're running for Congress?
Let me tell you something. What's funny is once that happened, once we finished that deal, it was almost like the clouds opened up and on a dark cloud over me and everything just dumped on me. Everything. Like my world fell apart. Okay. My marriage ended. I lost everything, but I still had that deal because that deal, I worked into it that they would send me monthly payments. And I thought, okay, but at that point I was like, I'm going to be okay. Because that was the one thing that helped me. I was like, I was going to be okay. So when this whole thing came up to run for Congress, my thought was, should I do it? I'm not sure. And the thing that helped me was, they say police officers have that feeling they get called to duty. And that's what happened to me. I'm like, I have to do this. I have to do this. But when that decision finally was like, okay, I'm going to do it. At that moment, I'm like, and you're going to do it. Because I immediately was like, you're going to be fine. You got this because look what you've done before. And a lot of times I bring this up and all I keep thinking is, I look at what I went through with that apartment deal. It was the craziest thing. But guess what? You did it. You did it with help. And then at the end, you dragged the horse across the finish line, but you did it. So now, like I said, with the run for the house, my thought was, I'm going to get this done. Even the people on my team now, because we have a team put together that we're going to make this happen. They're like, Pete, you just keep thinking. You don't think of anything negative. You don't stop. I'm like, I don't have to. I know this is going to get done. It's the belief system that's in me now from what happened on that deal. And I've brought it to everything. I brought it to different businesses. I brought it to, like, I've had other businesses past that because, like I said, the economy tanked. So it was a kind of bad situation. But after that, I'm like, well, let's do this. I can do this. I can do that. I can do this. And when I tell the story of everything that I've gone through, people are like, I had one guy say to me, I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to embarrass him, but someone who I know. And he basically, I said to him, I said, really, you don't know what I've gone through. And I turned and I said, let me just tell you, but you got to keep it to yourself. And he's like, dude, holy crap, man, you're my hero. And I'm like, I'm nobody's hero. I said, I just am persistent. And I refuse to let defeat beat me. I'm like, I won't do it. There's no reason to, and no one else should. If you believe it, if you have it in your heart, and I'm not getting, spiritual or godly, but the Bible talks about the faith of a mustard seed. The mustard seed, it's like nothing. And guess what? All you need is that little bit. And guess what? That's all you need. Just go forward and keep attacking it, keep hitting it. And guess what? You're going to break through. And when you break through, it's the best feeling. I can remember the meeting after we closed that we had our, I think it was a Monday night meeting, and everybody was like, Pete, so what happened? And they were waiting for something else. And I got there, I go, we closed. And it was like, whew, oh my goodness, we closed. The feeling was absolutely the most incredible feeling because I thought it's probably the second best feeling to my daughter being born. It was amazing. Like, wow, that was amazing. We got it done because you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
You earned every accolade, every relief at that point.
Thank you.
All right, so you're running for Congress now. You're running for Congress, and you think you had obstacles before. My gosh! So you taking this on. So what do you see? Well, first of all, what led to your decision to run for Congress? That doesn't come around lightly. What led to that decision, Peter?
Oh, it's yeah, right. It didn't come lightly. Like I said, I had the pull to run. This is going to sound crazy, but in 2000, I think it was 14, I was working for FEMA. So I wasn't at home. So I had to use a mail-in ballot. But the person who was running didn't have an opponent. So I penciled in my name as a write-in candidate, and I called all my friends. I said, listen, we got to keep this guy honest, man. Write my name in there. I knew I wasn't going to win. I knew it, but I did it. But that feeling of I need to do this again. There's something I got to do. And so I had that feeling. I kept it up, and there was a couple of circumstances that kind of led up to me saying, okay, I've had enough. Like I said, I'm a spiritual person. I pray every day. I talk to God, and I just had that gut, and I can remember saying, hey, look, if this is what you want me to do, just open the door, show me the way. And sure enough, the door was open and people were like, this is what you got to do. And all I kept thinking was like, yeah, I need to do this, because when I got to the point that I'm like, should I or shouldn't I? My thought was, I have to, because I've had 8 different businesses. I am pursuing so many different things because I know this country, you can do this. I can't do this in Greece. I can't do it at all in any other country. I can start something and fail, or I can start something and succeed. This country allows that. No other country does. And now the tyrannous people who are in office now, and they're trying to destroy our country. My thought was, I can't lose this country. My children deserve better. My grandchildren deserve. I don't have grandchildren, but I started thinking, not just my family, the people in this country. And if it takes me to do it, and again, people will tell me, man, that's a big decision. I'm like, I guess to me, it was like, I have to do it. I have to do it. I can't not do it. I can't sit by and watch, is what I thought. So, and that's why I just, when the decision happened, the decision came, I'm like, I got this. We could do this. Let's get this done. And all of a sudden, the people, who needed to help me came on board.
That's excellent. So at this point, of course, you're in the middle of a race right now. And what do you see as the biggest challenge from the country standpoint that you'd like to address as a representative? What's number one?
Listen, there's a lot of number ones. I got to tell you right now. One of the things is our country right now is I don't want to say falling apart because I hate saying negative thoughts, but I can tell you the gas prices, the food prices, the food not on the shelves anymore. The people who are in office who aren't doing the job we voted them in for. Okay. People who have been in office too long. Okay. I've made a commitment to it. There's a couple of committees out there who basically said, listen, if you run and you win, would you sign this petition saying that you're going to leave in 4 years? And I fought them too, because I was like, no, you can't do anything in 4 years. 8 years. I said, my plan was I'll be in 8 years. I said, because Congressman, House of Reps are only 2 years at a time. I said, give me 8 years. And then whatever I'm done, I said, I'm done. I won't do it any longer than that. I'm not going to spend a lifetime. I said, and one of the issues is term limits. Get these guys out. That's it. No 40-year politicians. Our forefathers did not say that's what they wanted. They could say, go in, do your civic duty, and get out. And right now, everybody I talk to, everybody knows Pete's only going to do this if he can. He's going to do it for 8 years once he's in, and that's it. I want term limits. I want these, almost said idiots. I said I want these unrighteous people out of office. This country needs to take a different direction, because the direction we're going right now is downhill, and I'm not happy with it. And we have to gather people up and say, look, enough is enough. Period.
Yeah, too many professional politicians. That's exactly.
Yes, too many.
So all right. So you're in the midst of this race, and I just can't imagine the challenges. But let me ask you the question then: how does this first run for Congress compare to your first successful apartment transaction? Are there analogies there? Are there?
Listen, you know what I went through. You know that was easy compared to what I'm going through now, because I thought, we're just gonna, that deal had its ups and downs, and we went through the mud. And let me tell you something. I didn't have anybody fighting me when I did the apartment deal. Nobody was up against me. Everybody was trying to help, trying to do something. Even if they didn't believe in it, they stood by. This run for Congress, let me tell you something. I've had people go around telling people that, oh, he dropped out. He's not running anymore. And I'm like, and people come up to me because, listen, Lance, I am open. My life is on my sleeve. I'll tell you anything you need to know. And people come, listen, I heard you dropped out. I go, really? Who told you that? And then you find out, you're like, oh my goodness. Now I won't go after him. I was like, listen, people are going to know you're lying now. I was like, why would you do that? And then the mudslinging, and he's got no qualifications, and he's this. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but neither did some of the politicians. I look at I found out yesterday, okay, Trump had no qualifications, okay, and he became president. And I thought, okay, whether you like him or not, he had no qualifications, okay. Ron DeSantis, the best governor in the country, didn't have any qualifications when he ran for Congress either. I'm thinking, and these guys were good. They did a good job. I'm like, you know what? I don't need it. But the amount of I don't want to say hatred, but the amount of finger pointing, trying to break up the party, trying to just evil doing. I'm like, wow, I never would expect it in my life. Now, I keep thinking, good thing I went what I went through, because I recognize it right away. And it's like, okay, I just push it aside. People because like I was saying, my team is like, how do you just brush it off? I go, I've been through worse. We'll be fine. Don't worry about it. If it's a real issue, they'll bring it up again, and people are gonna realize what kind of people they are. And if they do, they're not gonna win, and they know that. So just keep moving forward. Don't worry about it. So yeah, it's been a huge surprise and a difference. But yeah, it's been phenomenal.
I'm just so impressed with it, and I was preparing for this interview, Peter, and in retrospect, you might not realize this about yourself, but you've had an incredible hero's journey. You said a moment ago you're not a hero. You are absolutely a hero. Because you've been a hero to yourself and your family, and you have lived the classic hero's journey. So given that, what advice would you share with those perhaps getting started right now? Let's talk about apartments. Let's talk about life. You keep it as broad or as narrow as you want. Best your life lessons. But what was your biggest lesson learned in this hero's journey of yours, and what would you share as that biggest lesson learned?
Again, and because you said, I'm going to say it again. I'm the only person I want to be a hero to is my children, and my kids right now. They're like, Dad, we're so proud of you. Can you imagine your children saying to you, we're proud of you? Your children, you should be saying it to your children. And if you know, when I speak about my kids, I am the proudest person you have ever met. I get emotional. I'm so proud of my kids. But to hear them say that to me, that's the only people I want to say that I'm a hero. But as far as anyone else, and as far as, whether it be apartment buildings or anything else, you have to understand, and you teach this, set your goal and know that's the goal and just focus on the goal. That's it. And believe you can do it. And if you don't believe it, go find some people who believed in you. I said, because you're the one, Lance, you're the one who believed in me first. I flew out there because I was frustrated. Lance, what do I need to do? And you told me, and I knew you believed in me because you kept giving me great advice. So I tell people, find somebody who believes in you. I said, so you can get yourself to the point where you believe in yourself now. And guess what? Once you start believing in yourself, nobody can stop you. No one. This whole thing now, all the nightmare, the junk that comes with running in politics, I'm not even worried about it because you know what? I believe in Peter. And guess what? And everyone who's listening on this call you got to believe in yourself, period. Once you get to that point, sometimes it takes a while. Some of us start at a lower level and it takes time. But guess what? Once you hit that level, there's a level of you walk around with your chest puffed out and people look at you like, man, you're just so confident. Like, why? I'm like, I just am. I said, but I know what I had to go through to finally believe in Peter, in myself, to get to that point. So I knew that we can do anything now. I can do anything. And I feel like I could. Listen, Lance, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Lance and I have the same birthday. We're exactly the same age. Exactly. I jumped out of an airplane. My daughter insisted that I go skydiving with her. And I can't let her down. So I went, I want to say 2 years ago. And I thought, I'm 56 years old. Like, no. And I go, well, I can't let her down. And I did it. And guess what? I'm like, all I kept thinking the whole time, I could do this. I could do this. I could do this. I just knew I could do it. Scared, but I could do it. And guess what? It was the greatest experience. And like I said, it was just, you have to believe in yourself. You got to know. And again, if you can't believe in yourself that right now, find someone who will believe in you. And once you get to that point, there will come an apex, I guess, a high point where you decide, like it happened with me and you, like, I'm still going to get this done. I want to get this done. And you make the decision. That's when the self-belief comes in play. And all of a sudden it's like, I still want him to help me, but I know I can do this. And that's basically what I can tell people. Just do it. Find someone to do it with and then go. Whether it be apartment buildings, whether it be houses, whether it be a restaurant, which, by the way, I've taught this and I'm going to brag on my kids right now. Okay, my daughter's 21 years old. She's not even out of college yet. She has investors. She has menus, drink menus, dinner menus, and she's looking for a building in downtown Miami to open up her restaurant when she graduates, so she can. And I'm thinking, wow, but that's the influence you have when you have that self-belief, and she has it hands down. Oh my God, she's definitely my daughter. So I'm so proud of her, and I'm thinking, this is how people are. You do this, and it spreads. It's like, it's a wonderful thing because other people take it, they follow it, they feel it. They're like, you know what? I'm going to do it because like he did it. We can do this. We can do this. So yeah, that's my thought. Sorry, it's a little bit much, but
yeah. And you say you're not a hero. My gosh, that explanation will impact so many people. That just ripples through, Peter. That just ripples through.
Good.
So we got to get you into Congress, man. So where do people go to support you? What's your website? How can they contribute and benefit?
Whenever I talk, Okay, this is a battle. It's definitely a battle without a shadow of a doubt. I tell people parts of when I speak, I say, you got to pick up your shield and your sword because I'm a Spartan. That's one of the things I talk about. Like I come from this. I have a high, what do you call it? A high place that I got to reach them. That people are holding me to a high. My Greek friends are like, dude, you're really going to pull this Spartan thing off, aren't you? I go, I have to. I got no choice. So I tell them, I say, you got to pick up your shield. And guess what? I have a Greek shield now. This is my shield. I tell people, this is my shield. All right. And I tell people, this is my sword. Because guess what? The pen is mightier than the sword. And this is how we win. Not just my race. We need to win back our country. And the way to do it is you take your pens to the ballot boxes and you overwhelm them with voting for the right candidate. And I'm not saying I'm the right candidate. I think I am. But go find the right candidate and make sure he's on the same page. And then I tell people, when I say I have a 5-step program. If you remember, we talked about how we need to, there was always a plan. When we did the apartment building deal, there was a plan. Get started, find a great deal, close it. That's it. It was a pretty simple plan. Well, guess what? I came up with a plan. My team, I should say, came up with a plan on our website. Okay, it's a 5-step plan. We need to gather up. We got to unite the people. We got to identify the enemy. We need to find patriots who are going to do the right thing. Okay, we got to keep the faith. All these things we talked about, right? And then finally, we need to close the deal. That's it. So I tell people, you got to go to the website. Here's I don't know if this is coming up at all. This is my shield and my website.
FLCD21.com. Is that what it says? Right. FLCD21.com.
Yep, FLCD21.com. I have another website. We're trying to merge them, but like I said, I have two. The other one is Arianas2Congress.com. So either one is you can go to. But I tell people I hold this up because I say this is the shield. This is the Spartan shield. Somebody developed this just like this is going to be good. You should use this. And I'm like, all right, what the heck, Never did I realize how popular it was going to be. I have people coming to me saying, dude, we see this on cars. I'm like, but how come your name's not on? I said, it doesn't need to be. It's mine. Everybody who has this and everybody who sees it says, that's that Greek guy. That's the guy. And I think it did its job. It's marketing. You told me that too. It's marketing. It's part of that, So yeah, I see this. And like I said, I tell everyone there, you want to be part of the movement, go to the website. The support is out there. It takes funding to do. Okay, I'm not begging people because quite frankly, this is going to happen regardless. But listen, go to the website. If you feel that this is part of a movement that you guys want to be a part of, take part of it. There's ways. There's plenty of ways on the site you can do it. I welcome it. Like I said, and like I tell people I'll give you permission, Lance. If anybody wants my phone number, give them my phone number. I will talk to anybody. I have nothing to hide. A lot of my opponents are like, they're trying to hit me with stuff. I was like, dude, I got nothing to hide. And that's why they don't know what to do with me. But I'm like, that's fine. So I tell all the constituents and I tell them, just call me. You don't know what to do. You got a question where I stand, anything, give me a call. I'll answer your questions. No problem. No problem. That's how the people we vote should be. That's how they should be. They'll answer the phone. They'll take a question. Come on. How many questions could you possibly get? I'm open to it. I'm absolutely open for it. For sure. And that's the way. Find somebody you believe in and run with it, absolutely.
All right, sir. Everybody, now listen, I'm going to be a little more forceful than Peter was. FLCD21.com. So I want you to go there and I want you to support this man. And you do not need to live in the state of Florida to help him this campaign. We need more people with common sense, persistence, and a get it done attitude and damn the torpedoes type of approach that Peter's displayed ever since I've known him for many, many years now. So FLCD21.com is Peter Arianas. Help him get into Congress. And Peter, I think, I'm just blown away. I'm blown away by your story and the impact you've had on so many other people and your hero's journey. I'm going to say it again because it's a classic hero's journey and nobody's pulling for you harder than I am. We need you. We need you in DC. We need you in Congress. And this has been so helpful to so many people. I want to thank you for for sharing, taking some time out of your day. I know you're in the middle of a campaign. Thank you for taking your time. Is there any final comments or thoughts that you want to share?
Final thoughts. And listen, first of all, I appreciate you. You know that. I've told you that many, many times. The fact that you are my first podcast, like I said, and other people have asked me this week. I said, no, I got to do Lance's first. His is going to be my first. I said, you were my first apartment deal. You're going to be my first podcast. And like I said, you know how much I appreciate you, how highly I think of you, and how much you do for everyone, because there are teachers out there who they go through the motions. Okay. You're the kind of teacher who is involved with the people. You want them to succeed. And honestly, like I said, yes, I'm trying to use the spirit of 76 for the campaign, but I keep looking at what you've done and keep thinking, you know what? Lance is the guy. You're wondering if this is the right thing for you or not. Lance is the guy. You trust him. He will teach you. He cares. He's that kind of guy. And like I said, he didn't have to do this with me at all, but I'm so glad he did, because like I said, I'd love to reach out to anyone who needs help, even with the apartment buildings. I'll help you with that too. I don't care. But absolutely, as far as, I'm telling you, I'm going to go back to it because I loved it so much. Like, my friends are doing deals and I'm trying to help them. They're like, Pete, when did you get involved? I go, I work a full-time job and I run. It's too much already. I said, but I promise you, when I'm done, this is it. I'm going full force apartment building. I still look, I get your article, I get your emails, and then I look at the apartment buildings. Like, that one looks like a good deal. Let me hold on. I'll do a couple seconds. Like, no, it's not a good one. And I'll keep going. And all I keep thinking is like, this is a wonderful thing that you're doing for everyone. I've always thought it was a great thing that you're doing. And like I said, I hope a lot of people will take the advice that you give them and run with it and get that confidence they need to go and move on to bigger and greater things. Absolutely. But what's better than apartment buildings? Nothing. Not to me, at least. I love apartment buildings. So,
well, that's very generous. So thank you so much. So everyone, I want you to support this man. FL, like in Florida, FLCD21.com. Peter Arianas for Congress, middle of a campaign, needs your support. And I'm certainly going to endorse him because I know the man. I know what he's capable of, what he's done. I wanted to introduce you to everybody here. And you do not, just because he's in Florida, you need to support him as well. We just need common sense, persistent people in D.C. So help this gentleman out. And thank you, Peter. And so everyone, listen, if you want to listen to the replay, you always go to greenlightreinvesting.com, greenlightreinvesting.com. I'll have the show notes. I'll put the website on there. But Mr. Peter Arianas, until next time, everybody, make it a successful real estate lifestyle. Make it a successful lifestyle like Mr. Peter Arianas just demonstrated. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Interview with the Experts with Lance Edwards. Let us now blatantly and shamelessly bribe you toward creating your own real estate lifestyle by offering you a whole bunch of free stuff. Go to greenlightreinvesting.com and get you some free stuff and this session's show notes. That's greenlightreinvesting.com.